Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reardon, and it's that time of year again when we make a gingerbread house. This one has lights and candy inside and plenty of chocolate covering the roof. For the gingerbread itself, you'll need sugar, milk, ground ginger, cloves, cinnamon, glucose syrup, molasses, bicarb, flour, and butter. Add the glucose syrup to the butter, and you can swap that for light corn syrup if you can't get glucose syrup. And I'll put all the recipe quantities on my howtocookthat.net website for you, and I'll link to that below. Pour in the molasses, and I'm doubling this recipe because I want to make 2 houses, but you can just make the normal quantity if you're only making 1, and then add in the sugar. Then mix that all together. Now, if you don't have a stand mixer, don't worry, you can do this with a spoon. And to make it easier for you, with this recipe, you can actually just warm up the mixture in the microwave so that butter melts and all of those syrups soften, and it makes it really easy to mix up. Now, I'm going to split mine into 2 because the bowl is so full. If you're not doubling yours, you can skip that step, and then add in the milk and mix that through. Then swap to a dough hook and add in about half of your flour, and that's going to still get very full because we're making a big gingerbread house. So what I want you to do is put the rest of the flour on your counter and tip the gingerbread mixture onto the top, and then use your hands to mix all the rest of the flour into the dough. And now, yes, this is going to be very sticky and soft, but you don't want to add more flour. You just want to mix what you have in, and then wrap it in plastic wrap and refrigerate it for a few hours. Now it will be firmer. You can roll it out using a little bit of flour on your rolling pin and some baking paper underneath. And then put your template pieces on top and use a pizza cutter to cut along the straight edges. Then use a knife to cut out the windows and the fiddly bits, but leave them in place. Take off some of the excess gingerbread, but remember to leave a border of spare gingerbread all the way around all of your pieces, and this just stops the corners, especially the pointy ones, and the edges of the house from getting overcooked in the oven. Then peel off the template before you put it in the oven. I sometimes forget that. And then for the little front part, roll your gingerbread quite thinly so it's easy to put together. And then follow the same steps as we did for the other pieces. And you can get the template for this house and lots of other gingerbread houses on the How to Cook That website, and again I'll link to that below. After baking for 15 minutes, take your tray out of the oven and recut the lines and remove any windows. And then put that back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes to dry out. Exactly how long it'll take will depend on how thick you've rolled your gingerbread. With the rest of my dough, I'm going to cut out stars to make a Christmas tree. You can get creative and make fences or a little shed or a dog kennel, garden beds, anything your heart desires. For the icing, we're going to need icing sugar, pavlova magic mix or powdered egg white, and water. Just mix all those together until you get a smooth paste. Then split it into bowls and add the colours of your choice. I'm making some grey first for the outlines. To do different patterns in sections on my house, I'm just going to use a ruler and mark off straight lines across. I'm not trying to cut through the gingerbread, I'm just trying to leave a line so I've got a guide. Then take your grey icing and pipe along the line, and remember to go around the edge on both the front and back panels of the house because you'll be able to see those edges. We also want to draw a line around the edge of each piece so it gives it a border, so that when we fill it with colour, it doesn't just run off the sides. Now draw a double outline around each of your windows and an extra bit at the bottom so it looks like a windowsill. Now what you do from there is really up to you, it's your house. I'm going to put patterns in this middle section and swirls and shapes just to fill that all in. And then for the bottom, to contrast that free-form bit in the middle, I'm going to do straight lines. Cut that into little squares and then cut those into triangles, and then you can colour it in. Now to colour in the pattern, what we need to do is add a teaspoon of water to some of your icing and mix it through. This is just going to thin it down. Now you want to thin it until it flows like this, like thick honey. If it's too thin, it'll just soak into the gingerbread. If it's too thick, it's going to be hard to work with. For small areas, you should be able to just dip a skewer into your red icing, put some on and spread it into the corners. Do the same with the next colour, and this is really just like colouring in but using icing. I'm going to do the swirls in the same colour so that it ties the two parts of the house together. Once you've coloured in all your swirls, then add a bit of green to that colour for in between those swirls and fill that in all the gaps. For bigger spaces, you can use a pipette or a syringe or even a teaspoon to add the icing into place and then just spread it out with your skewer. To decorate a house neatly like this takes a bit of time, and we're going to use this particular one at a picnic with friends tomorrow. The other house that I made the pieces for, that one's going to look completely different. That is our family gingerbread house, and we have a tradition every year of making a gingerbread house together, and everyone gets to decorate one side however they like. So it looks a bit crazy, it looks fun, a little bit messy, and we eat it for dessert on Christmas Day. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any Christmas traditions that you like to do every year. I think this house is looking busy enough, so I'm going to make the top section just plain blue. You can spoon that in, and again just use the skewer to spread it into the corners all the way to the edges. For the window frames, add in some brown icing, and now when you make this colour, only thin down about 1/4 of it. Leave 3/4 of it thick in another bowl, and we'll use that once this first layer is dry. For the little front pieces, I'm outlining them in grey too, all the way around the edge and around the windows, and then filling them with plain cream. Once your brown is dry, pipe over with the thick brown icing over the top in whatever pattern you like. Now you can make really precise window frames using fondant, and I'll link you to my other gingerbread house videos at the end so you can see some other ideas of how to do them. Last Christmas, a pastry chef Mike made a giant version of one of my gingerbread houses for a meet and greet we had at a department store. It was pretty amazing seeing one of my gingerbread houses blowing up big, and even more fun meeting you guys. I love meeting subscribers face to face. To assemble the walls of the house, I'm going to use compound chocolate because it sets quicker than royal icing, so it's a bit faster to put it together. Pipe along the base of 2 walls and up one side of the back, and then position those 2 bits into place. Add more chocolate on the other side and add your next wall to that edge. Now pipe along the outside edge of the side walls and across the base and put the front of the house into place. For the windows, I'm using gelatin sheets. These are technically edible, but they don't taste great, so I'd suggest not actually eating them. I've got other alternatives for windows on the other gingerbread house videos as well. Take the center support piece and put chocolate along one side, down on the bottom inside the house, and up the other side, and put that into place. And this piece will help hold the roof on when we put that on in a minute. You'll see how that works. Now for that little front section, use more chocolate and glue that into place. Once all that chocolate is completely set, if you want to add a light, you can just loosen the house from the base and add the light into place, just threading it under and in. Now make sure you're using a light globe that doesn't get hot, or you might burn your whole house down, not just your gingerbread house. Use chocolate to secure the house back into place onto the board, and then before the roof goes on, add lots of candy to the inside of the house. I had a little helper who was very excited to help me do this. Then add chocolate along the joins of the roof and add your roof pieces into place. You're going to need to hold them there for a moment until you can feel that that chocolate is starting to set, and they're going to hold there. And then you can pipe more chocolate along the joins, and it's important to make sure there's no light that comes out anywhere from the house except for the windows. You don't want it coming through cracks in the roof. Add the little bits of roof into place at the front too. And that roof is looking a bit plain, so let's add some freckles. That's what we call these chocolates here in Australia. Let me know if you have a different name for it in other countries. And then add them in rows like roof tiles all over the roof. And then add jelly beans along the top edge. Add some chocolate to the roof of the entry, and if you scrape down using a serrated knife as it sets, you'll get a nice pattern on this little roof. For your tree, you just need to stack up your stars. I like to use 2 of each size so the tree ends up a bit taller. And then add jelly beans to the sides to make it colourful and pretty. Cover the base with melted white chocolate, and if you don't want the ground to be flat, you can always just add some marshmallows or some other candies and drizzle them with chocolate so you have like a little bit of uneven ground there. Add your tree into place on one side and use a tea strainer to shake some icing sugar to make it snowy. If you make a gingerbread house this year, you can post a photo of it in the comment section on the website so I can see it. Subscribe to How to Cook That for more crazy sweet creations. Click here for the recipe, here for more gingerbread houses and Christmas ideas, and here for the latest video. Make it a great week, and I'll see you on Friday.